Here we go. Hey, welcome back to the VET S.O.S podcast brought to you by the Who You Know Network. VET S.O.S is now a proud member and glad supporter of the parade deck community. Remember, don't drown in the sea of transition. Grab that VET S.O.S lifeline. Today, we have veteran advocate Stacey Gordon with us today, who's going to talk about her new venture to help our community. We're looking forward to hearing much more about that as we move into the interview. But right now, as always, I'm here with my co-host, Eric. Eric, how are you doing today?
Dude, if I was any better, I'd be twins. I've had like 3 cups of coffee. I'm ready to rock and roll. It's Saturday. It is sunny in Georgia, but it's still cool. My favorite time of year. It smells like pumpkin spice and Ugg boots out here. But yeah, man, I'm pumped up. I have known Stacey for a while, so I'm excited to get into this and hear her story. So let's get after it.
I think I just threw up a little bit in my mouth. I'm gonna go ahead and put that on the record. We already checked that this isn't for kids on the YouTube. So, oh man, which is a great story. Remind me to tell you that someday, Eric. Okay. All right, so we got Stacey Gordon with us. She's a military transition coach, life skills educator, and former New Jersey public school teacher who understands the human experience of transition. Using personal stories and lessons learned from her own transformation from classroom teacher to speaker, teacher, coach. Serving the veteran and military community, Stacey teaches lessons on how to be confident, overcome inner critic and self-doubt, identify values, set goals, time management, how to identify SPARK teams, which is also known as support networks, to increase productivity, efficiency, and effectiveness for individuals and organizations. Stacey, so happy to decide to join us today. We'd love having you on here. Can't wait to sit down and learn more about what you're trying to do here with Strategies to Success. How are you doing today?
I am doing well, Eric. I'm doing well, Shawn. And I just wanted to say, number one, thank you for the opportunity to speak with you and to speak with this amazing community. And also, of course, thank you for your service on so many different levels. So thank you.
So we're ecstatic to have you here. You are someone who is pretty well known in the community just for being there and talking and helping people. You participate in a lot of different events. So we'll discuss some of those as we get into it. But let's start, so you weren't military, right? But you were raised in a military family. So you've been around it, but how did you wind up? Like, what was your journey to get into the transition space?
How did you get stuck with us? That's what I want to know.
How did I get stuck with you? So this evolved over time. Yes, I am directly connected. My dad did serve, but this really evolved in my 15 years as a teacher at school. There's a lot of different facets, and I think the first thing would be really important to read a piece of an email that I actually sent to somebody yesterday explaining my why. So if that's okay, I'd like to just start there. And basically, it says, I was in college studying to be a teacher during 9/11. I credit that fateful day in our nation's history for planting the seeds of who I am today. This was the same academic year my mom survived a brain aneurysm and traumatic brain injury, TBI. And my dad, my younger brother, and I spent 22 days in the neurological intensive care unit at Columbia Presbyterian Medical Center in New York City, watching the sun rise and set over the George Washington Bridge. 3 or 4 of those days, my mom was in a coma, and ironically, the only beacon of hope and certainty was the blue light from the beams where the Twin Towers once stood, and the bright light of the yellow moon in the dark sky above, which forever left an indelible mark on my life. This was also the same academic year we lost my grandmother to her battle with breast cancer. It was the human experience of that time in my life that planted the seeds of patriotism, inner strength, persistence, fortitude, resilience, empathy, and family. And that's capital F, as in the network and support system we create for ourselves, in addition to the family into which we are born, that I pay forward today. So the root of this was 9/11, when the seeds were planted in my life that I didn't truthfully really realize the impact at that time. And over the years in my classroom at school, y'all, if you will, really helped me mentor my students with your leadership, your character, and you were always real life role models that I had my students look up to. I had friends in uniform that came into our classroom at school. Our theme song was Lee Greenwood's Proud to be an American. And it just really evolved over my 15 years being a civilian educator. And those students are in college right now. And they're still emailing me, hey, Miss G, whenever you're proud to be American, like it brings me back to that, our classroom or our veterans home sing-along or, meeting up for a game up at West Point at the United States Military Academy and seeing the American flag on the football field or lacrosse field. So this has really evolved over 22 years at this point. And I always had a dream to be a life coach, to teach these life lessons, this holistic success for life. What's your 3-year plan? What's your 5-year plan? Who's supporting you? Who's helping you set goals? And who's helping be your cheerleader when you feel like crap, truthfully? And who's picking you up? And who's, moving you forward? And I had gone back to school for training, for life coach training. And really this was right before COVID. So COVID happened and I sat at this little table in my little apartment and I had to figure it out. What was I going to do? Who was I going to be to do what I wanted to do, which was serve all of you? And truthfully, Eric, I have a picture of you, military transition bar, right here, literally on my wall. And it's very full circle because I met Eric at one of my very early Vets to Industry events. That was the group that really adopted, really, saw something in me that I did not see in myself yet, truthfully. And Eric was like, yo, how did you know? Like, my girlfriend asked me my 3 to 5 year plan. Like, nobody's ever asked me that. And she asked me that 2 weeks ago. And I'm like, that's what I specialize in. And we got on a call, one-to-one. A couple weeks later, Eric, I tell this story very often. And Eric and I were sitting like this. And he said, look, we're losing 22 a day. He said, I'm losing 22 of my brothers and sisters a day. We're losing more to their own hand than we are to combat. And he leaned into the computer and he's like, what can you do about it? Because I know you can do something about it. And then he's like, I got to call, I got to go by. And what he doesn't know is
that sounds familiar.
Right? And what he doesn't know, though, is that I shut that computer that day and I started crying and I was hysterical. And I was like, I need to figure out what that means. And I went on this 3-year quest to figure out what specialized skills, I had to bring to the table. And Eric, I do, not to sound weird or anything, but I have your name, you and Jerry Young from InVets. The two of you, we had follow-up conversations. You really got what I was doing. And I'm like, all right, if they believe in me, I have to believe in myself and figure out what the hell this is going to look like. And at my first Vets to Industry, I met a man named Tim Glowacki. And Tim he was a Navy vet. And Tim coached me and mentored me. And he's like, Stacey, you're not an elementary school teacher anymore. He's like, you have you've got a bigger mission now. And, these people need you. Keep going. And unfortunately, Tim passed away of COVID last January. Literally, I found out the news that my phone was buzzing in my pocket the first time I did my first official presentation about life skills and values under my company name. And it was just and that was for the transition bar. So that's why it was just so full circle. And, so a little long-winded, but that's really how this has evolved. And, Eric, you especially, you gave me the outline of how you did your resume and how you invited me to the Still Serving Vets LinkedIn sessions, and you just picked me up. And I know how you literally helped me feel like I moved forward knowledge, with resources, with encouragement, with support. And, that's kind of that is what I do now. And, it's exciting and humbling to be able to compile my knowledge. And every time I'm somewhere showing up learning, it's not just for me, I'm learning for all of you. And I'm learning for all of you as you've all been defending and protecting me. So
it's a heck of a journey. Love the backstory and the fact that you overcame so many different things, especially, doing your education and creating this business idea right as COVID hit, was definitely challenging. Anybody could try and say that you made any of that up, but the fact that you quoted something we've all heard from Eric, that, hey, I got another call, I got to go, just proves that everything you just said is 100% accurate. There is no lying whatsoever. She verified it with something that we all know.
Yeah.
Cannot be disputed.
And I have mixed emotions about that, because like, am I just a rude jerk that like talks for 5 seconds and then says I gotta go? But I think it's a collision of passion, right? It's Stacey wanting to do something. I know that it can't just be veterans, right? We can't just have veterans. I just need to have people who care. We just need people around us who care. I don't care what your background is. I don't care where you come from. I don't care what state you're from. I don't care about any of that stuff. I care that you are passionate about loving on my community, on our community, on this community. And Stacey, now it is our community, right? When we first met, you called it my community, but now it is our community, right? You are ingrained in this community. You are part of this community. I asked you what you're going to do about it. This is why you're on the show. Look at what you're doing about it.
Yeah.
So there.
And there's a few things. So I want to clear your name a minute, Eric. So you had said to me at the beginning of that call, but when we made the call, I want everybody out there listening to know this. Brew said, I have a crazy week, but I'm going to make time for you. So there's the backstory. So when we got on, see, I'm saving your name. That's true. So when we got on the call, I knew I only had a short amount of time because you had a call coming up. See, isn't that better, Shawn? It makes him sound better.
No. See, now I have to call into question some of the facts of the story.
But
you had an airtight alibi and you screwed it up.
No, but it's true. And, Eric, yes, when I started, it was your community. And at this point, I do feel like it is mine because you have all made it mine. And at the same time, you've all seen how I've been working my tail up my ass. I'm going to say it online, right? Like literally 24, literally
That's
20.
2 episodes in a row now. You can't
oh, we're not supposed to. I thought you said, I don't know. Yeah. No, but no, seriously. I mean, this has been anybody, and 2 of you really do know me, and really most of the vets to industry community who has seen me like 24/7. And what has been helpful though is it has become my community, and I have people all over the world at this point because where you're all stationed, how's it going? I just want to make sure you're on your goals. You're on track with your goals. We need you. Keep moving forward. So, and that was, I don't know if I said this before, but that's what Tim Glowacki would say to me before he passed. That was his, keep moving forward. And if you fall forward and bloody your nose, but get your ass up and keep moving forward. And y'all are at the other end waiting for me. Now you're all pulling me. I mean, so you're kicking my butt as hard as I'm kicking my own. So, it's a team effort on so many levels.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, if you don't, I'm going to go ahead and validate. Somebody sees how we're on this role of validating what each other does and says and things that happen. I'll validate something that Stacey just said, because I've absolutely woken up to emails and messages on LinkedIn. And I look at the timestamp, and I'm waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to go hit the gym. I'm going to go do whatever. I wake up and I look at the timestamp and I'm like, Stacey sent this to me at 2:30 in the morning. Why is she not sleeping? Because she's passionate. because she hasn't quit.
Concur. I got an email last night at 12:05.
See? Because you've all taught me that if something has to be done, it has to be done. It has to get done. And it doesn't matter when, you have to complete your mission. If you have an objective, you have to complete your mission. And not gonna lie, this has taken a lot longer than I realized. And at the same time, as another Marine friend would say, but it's a bulletproof plan now. It's a bulletproof plan. And so, I'm getting there. And it's been a process, and especially, this is a transition call and this is a transition audience. And, I'm going to use the elementary school teacher example, if you will, because when I was teaching the little kids, we hatched butterflies and, it didn't happen overnight. It took 3 weeks. Mine took 3 years, but, you have to ask yourself, who do you want to be to do what you want to do? And if you're a little caterpillar that eventually wants to be a singing, dancing butterfly, you can't wake up as a caterpillar and all of a sudden be on stage under the spotlights doing that. Like, think about everything you have to take to get to become a butterfly, and then you have to use and gain specialized knowledge to move forward. And, again, transition space, like, you have to think about your transferable skills. What skills did you have from the military that you could bring into today? Initially when I started, I would say in my mentor calls to Tim, like, I don't know what I can bring to the table. I'm an elementary, I was an elementary and middle school teacher for 15 years. I also do have a BA in business marketing, and, but my brand and my persona was teacher of children. And truthfully, knowing that I was breaking into a space where I wanted to speak to corporate, which I have. I wanted to speak to higher education, which I have, and I am again this coming week. Knowing that I wanted to speak to nonprofit, which I have. Knowing that I wanted to speak to government agencies, which I have at this point. And I'm so excited and proud that I have done, because of all of you have helped me get to that point. And, it's just so important, though, to know that, you do have skills. And Tim would always say to me, actually, a number of people have said to me, Stacey, yes, you are, you were an elementary school teacher, but think about it. You were trained as an elementary educator, which means you know how to break these crazy, crazy concepts down into easily digestible chunks. And right on my LinkedIn profile, where it says transition resources right at the top, right under my name, I have created something called a link tree. And if you're not familiar, it's one link that leads you somewhere. And you can literally look right on your phone, and it has the veteran service organizations. It has resources to like U.S. Veterans Magazine or the GI Jobs Transition Guide. And I want everybody to know that this is learning that I personally have done for 3.5 years, 24/7. And that link tree took me about a month to put together. But, it's the knowledge that I personally have vetted, or I've personally sat in classes with y'all learning. I'm like, all right, that's good. All right, they deserve it. They need it. This is, and some of them it's like too much or too confusing. And, I yesterday, Friday, actually the person I wrote this for worked at a huge medical center in New York City. And I showed up for the briefing about the veteran workforce because I heard about it on the radio at 3 a.m. about a year ago, truthfully, the veteran workforce. And it took me a year, but I showed up for it. And the presentation was phenomenal. It was actually for Northwell Health, the medical center with New York City. And the trainer was fantastic. And I wrote this email that has not been sent yet to the president of that whole organization, saying how amazing the presenter was because he broke it down into easily digestible chunks. And, as an educator who has been a student for 3 years, I'm hyper sensitive to my instructors. So when I resonate with somebody, I just want to, whether it's a piece of knowledge or a teaching style or even just a human connection, I just want to share that love with this community. So
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love seeing where you're at.
Thank you.
I love seeing what you've done. I cannot wait to see what you do next.
Thank you.
I know that I know the bar has not, you're like, what I love about Stacey is that every time she sets a bar for herself, and I've watched you do this time and time again, every time she sets a bar for herself, she attains it. She doesn't stop there. She's not satisfied. That's not enough. So she raises the bar, and then she goes out and does what it takes to get to that. And then when she attains it, she doesn't sit back. She doesn't rest. She raises the bar again. So I cannot wait to see what you do next. Tell us a little bit about Strategy to Success. Tell us what you've got going on over there.
Sure. So Strategy to Success really is a teaching, coaching, consulting company firm, if you will. It serves individuals, it serves organizations, both corporate, higher education, nonprofit, government space. And what it is, it's life skills education more than anything. So it's called, in the teaching world, it's called executive functioning skills, time management, how to set goals, how to overcome your inner critic, really how to figure out your support team, who is your support network. And what's so exciting is it's actually a lot of it comes with a worksheet component. I actually didn't bring one with me, sorry, but when I was a teacher, I taught like math worksheets. So my students had pass out papers. Well, nowadays I actually have worksheets on time management, helping you strategize your big rock priorities. I have worksheets on career vision, career values. It's a lot of journal questions, and it's questions that people are not asking themselves, and it's questions that people don't know to necessarily ask themselves. And so, what happens is I have one particular keynote that I'm getting a lot of traction with now moving forward, which has been developed with all of you by my side. This was not my idea. This has been organically grown over 3 years. And it's basically called Strategy to Success, 5 Tools to Thrive During Transition and Beyond Military Service. And it's really 5 tools. It's setting goals, understanding the why of your goals, making sure you're going in the right direction for the right reason. How does that align with your holistic vision and holistic values? It's not just career. What does your life look like? Physical health, mental health, emotional health, relational health, social health, the relationship with yourself. How's your mindset? Are you, being really hard on yourself, or you're giving yourself grace to help you move forward? And because just a quick something is called the results formula. Your thoughts lead to your feelings, and your feelings lead to your actions, and your actions lead to your results. So if you're talking really negatively about yourself, you're going to feel like crap. And if you feel like crap, you're not going to perform as well. And then you're not going to get to where you want to get to. And people don't sit, or they're not aware of that, how that all, connects. I'm just trying to think. And then confident, how do you be confident? And again, I actually created workbooks and digital downloadable workbooks and everything I've done with those worksheets, I've also created in a virtual form. So, it's the teacher in me. I walk you through the worksheets. It's not like a fire hose that I'm throwing at you. I literally break it down in easily digestible chunks. And on that link tree, there's a free class that you can see, where it's yours. You can, I walk through it with you, your 3-month vision, holistic vision. And so again, it can be one-on-one, it can be workshops. I've spoken to the Verizon Valor ERG. So I want to get more into the employee resource groups in the corporate space. So it's really anything. I'm speaking at Regent University for their veteran career success, so it's hand tailored to whatever you need. And I attended a discussion with somebody who was putting a career conference on, and I asked because they were doing like a virtual prep session before the actual hiring fair and career conference. And the contact said to me, "Oh, we're doing lessons on how to, create your LinkedIn profile, or how to apply to graduate school, or how to apply, write your resume." And I said, "Is anybody teaching lessons on time management?" And she said, "No, what do you mean?" I said, "If you don't know how to prioritize your day, you're not getting that done as efficiently and effectively as possible." And she said, "I never thought about that." I said, "I know that. That's why I'm here to help you become aware." I said, again, in school, it's called the hidden curriculum, if you will. And people have said to me, you're teaching me things that I didn't even know that I needed to know. And I said, that's my point. It's you don't know, but I do, and I can help in this way.
That's awesome. And I think a few of those 2:30 a.m. emails that I've received were betas of that stuff that I was asked to look at, provide a little feedback on. Cool. Okay, so
And
I don't
you
know
waited
how
till like 8 in the morning to get it back to her.
Yeah, because I was up at 5 and I had to,
See?
but I had another call, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Eric, before you jump into the next question, I just want to make sure this went fast, man. We're already getting down to time.
Yeah. I was literally just I have no idea how we got to this point, but we're out of time. That is, I can't believe we need, maybe we need to look at our format. Maybe we need to be on a little longer. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that offline, as we would say. Stacey, one last question for you.
Yes.
What is the best place for everyone to get in contact with you?
So the best place right now is actually Stacey. Well, you can either reach me on LinkedIn, you can reach me, but I'm going to give you the best email address for me at this moment. It's Stacey, STACE, Echo, Y, at CS Promos. That's Cookie Sam or Charlie Sierra promos.com. So it's Stacey at cspromos.com. I just actually recently joined my family's promotional marketing company. My dad is an Army Reserve veteran, and I'm serving the military and veteran community. So that's my work email right now, and it's the best way to reach me.
Outstanding. Listen, for our audience, those who are in the middle of transition, I know you've got a lot of phone calls you're scheduling. You've got a lot of things you're doing. But you are missing out if you do not find Stacey online on LinkedIn, if you do not send her an email, and if you do not schedule some time just to pick her brain. She's put a lot of time and effort into this, and she has become one of those people, the people we need in our corner. Stacey, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. I appreciate everything you're doing. I'm proud of you, and I'm happy to call you my sister.
Thank you. Both of you.
Man, guys, that's it. We're out of time. Shawn, did you know that we should be saying Happy Hanukkah right now?
What? Already?
Yeah. So to our audience that celebrates Hanukkah, Happy Hanukkah from VET S.O.S. And everyone who celebrates Hanukkah, man, we love you. Enjoy it. And hey, look, we wish you and your family a safe and happy holiday season. Make sure to follow and subscribe us on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform. Thank you for tuning in to the VET S.O.S. podcast. Remember, don't drown in a sea of transition. Grab the VET S.O.S. lifeline. We'll see you guys later.